One tough aspect about practicing the trumpet is choosing what to practice out of the seemingly infinite possibilities of things that you could choose. For fundamentals, we could practice articulation, range, multiple tonguing, flexibility, dynamic contrast, we could also practice etudes, or solos, or excerpts if you're taking an audition. In this video, I'm gonna make a few arguments that among all the things that you probably really want to practice, you should definitely make time to practice lyrical etudes. There are many great books you can use for this. There's the Rochu Etudes and the Phil Snedeker Lyric Etudes. The examples that I'm gonna be performing throughout this video come from the book that I use for lyrical etudes most of the time, which is the Concone Lyrical Etude book. Practicing lyrical etudes are important for a few reasons. First, the majority of lyrical etudes aren't very technical in nature. So much of the music that we practice for trumpet is incredibly technical, and this is not necessarily a bad thing. We do have to spend time in the practice room practicing things that are fast or technical because there's a lot of music for the trumpet that requires us to be able to have these skills developed. But if we spend too much time or all of our time working only on technical things, it can get really easy to get in a groove where we lose touch with healthy air-driven trumpet playing. Lyrical etudes are really great for being able to play healthy because since they're not overly technical, we're not focused on trying to get all the notes and trying to make everything happen. Rather, we're more focused on taking a good breath and just making sure our air is flowing and producing a healthy sound. If you feel like you struggle to play with healthy air habits, like your playing is disjunct or it doesn't feel easy, lyrical etudes are a very good thing to incorporate into your practice. The second reason it's important to incorporate lyrical etudes into your practice sessions is because lyrical etudes put the most important part of our trumpet playing right at the forefront, which is our sound. I don't care how fast, how loud, how high somebody can play. If they don't have a great trumpet sound, it's just really tough to listen to. Now, there are lots of different trumpet players who have lots of different trumpet sounds. There are jazz trumpet players and classical players, and even within those sort of subgenres, there are tons of people who have different sounds. So I recognize that having a great sound, there's an element of it being personal to an individual. But I do believe among all of these great players that have different sounds, there are some similarities. And one of those similarities is that there's usually a good amount of balance between the highs in the sound and the lows in the sound. The highs in the trumpet sound are what you might think of as being bright, and it's where we get the energy or the excitement in our trumpet sound. And the lows in the sound are what you might think of as dark, where we have lots of fullness or richness or resonance in our sound. To have balance in your trumpet sound simply means that you have a good amount of highs and a good amount of lows, and that it's balanced, creating what I call a brilliant sound, and this is what I go for when I play the trumpet. So when you're playing lyrical etudes, like we just talked about, there's no technique, so it's unbelievably easy to just listen to your sound and ask, does my sound have balance? When you're playing these etudes and they go over the range of the instrument, you might hear that the sound quality you play with changes depending on the register that you're in. To be able to even this out so that your sound is beautiful and balanced no matter what register you're in is a really important benefit that lyrical etudes can help explore and develop in your trumpet playing. The third reason it's important to incorporate lyrical etudes into our practice is that it reminds us that the goal of practicing the trumpet should not be technical facility, but to use the trumpet as our musical voice. Playing the trumpet is a skill-based activity. We do need to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to articulate consistently, or play in the upper register with ease, or play in the low register with focus. All of this takes time and effort to develop. But, and I found myself making this mistake quite often, more than I would like, it's important to remember that all of that skill is supposed to serve something. It's supposed to serve making music, allowing what's inside of us to come out through our instrument and affect other people. The reason we develop more consistency in our articulation is so we have more control over the amount of aggressiveness or the amount of beauty that we can play with. We work to develop ease in our sound so that when the listener hears us, they're not thinking about our trumpet playing, they're thinking about the musical phrase and just letting it wash over them. Playing lyrical etudes allows us to connect ourselves to the human voice, to flex our musical muscles, and to become a musician and not just stop at being a good trumpet player. I honestly feel like I relearn this lesson every couple of years. I get caught up in trying to get better at the trumpet, so I'm thinking about all the nuts and the bolts of everything, and sometimes I forget to zoom back out and realize that great players aren't focused on nuts and bolts when they're performing. They're focused on making beautiful musical phrases and telling stories. So that's why I like lyrical etudes, like the ones I've been playing in this video, because you get the chance to think about this music like a singer, to think about how the trumpet can be like your voice and how you can turn these notes on the page into a story. Here's a short but complete etude from the Concone book where I'm gonna do my best not to just play a bunch of good notes in time and in tune, but I'm actually gonna try to sing you a song on my trumpet. I mentioned earlier that the key to having a good trumpet sound is having a good balance of highs and lows on the trumpet. I made a video where I go way more in depth on this and give you examples of how you can explore this. So if you want more information on that, click the video on the screen and we will see you in the next video.